Thanks. Hey, everybody. I'm Jen Berger. Director of Career Development is my crazy title. I'm in the eastern part of New York State, sunny Saratoga County. So I'm here. If I can do this, anybody can. I will just preface our little get together this morning with that. Um, Old dogs can learn new tricks, and this has been a fabulous learning curve for me. So, yeah, Nita touched on all the great stuff that is Engage 2.0. Certainly just a nice little overview. Um, it is a great thing. I come from, I've had my license about 20 years. I also no longer sell. But again, like what Nita said, if we had had this 20 years ago, I'd be a zillionaire. So I think that anybody who is new to the business or new to this technology and perhaps a seasoned veteran in the business, absolutely positively should be giving this a whirl. And I know in the beginning when it was first launched, so many people were sort of scared to dive into it because of the whole, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do a spreadsheet to import all of my 5,000 contacts. So they basically were just like, nope, I'm not having anything to do with it. Absolutely what Maggie says, eat an elephant one teeny tiny bite at a time. So spend every morning or the last task of the day adding 1, 2, 3, up to 5 people a day. Make it small and manageable, and your life will be so much easier. I'm a big Outlook girl, so I am thrilled that all of this flows right from my Outlook into my Engage. So everybody can see my page. I actually have manager access and agent access, but this is my agent page. I love that it tells me good morning. So my little portion of this is to talk about the adding tasks. And I do just want to reiterate over here on the right where it has the different calendars. I think that the to-do list is definitely the most important part of anybody's CRM. So all I have to do to move that to the top of the list is just left click, hold the left button down on my mouse, and bring it right to the top of the list. Easy peasy. It's probably the thing everybody should do, but it's personal preference. So you can move all of these things around. Just, super easy. Sales flow on top. You can see my big prospects and my activities. So let's just go back to moving the to-do list to the top of the list. So here we've got our to-do list, and so my tasks, I know that Nita did touch on this in the previous class, but I will dive a tiny bit deeper into this. So again, add tasks. This is very user-friendly, and in the Google world, the 3 little dots are always more information. So don't forget about those 3 little dots. They're very important, even though they are just 3 little dots. So if you just hit add a task, type in anything. I'll type in, let's see, call 5 prospects today. It automatically shows up. Now the little pencil here is the edit button. So to edit the task, I can go in. Here's the title that I just did. I can write the details. I can say, call Mike, John, Maggie, Melissa, and Joe. And then you click on the calendar for the due date. If you click on the little calendar icon, calendar pops up. I'm going to have all of these done today. So I'm going to click today's date. I'm not going to search for a person because I just made up all those names. And then I'm going to check the box to add to calendar. There is a teeny tiny bit of a delay, but there isn't a, once I've done that, it's done. There isn't a you know, where you have to do a send or a save or anything like that. It automatically saves, which is nice. So once I've done that task, if I go over to my calendar, let's see. And let's see, this is, I'm hitting view. So this gives me pretty much the whole rest of the month. And let's see, so right here, call 5 prospects today automatically shows up. When I click into it, it gives me the details of what I just typed in. So it's very user-friendly and it saves you a whole bunch of steps adding and to your calendar. And again, the garbage can is always just a trash, so I can remove it from my calendar if I choose. And then it updates the calendar again. So let me go back to my dashboard. And my transaction tasks, Maggie, you might have to jump in and help me with this because I don't have any transactions. So, or actually somebody who does, I don't know if you want to jump in.
So your transactions, if you have a transaction set up and you've set up the tasks under Jen's picture, you see the little gear on the top right corner. If I go into engage settings and I go to task manager, click, and I go into my buyer plan, customize. So hopefully you've already established a set of tasks for your buyer clients and your seller clients. And these should include tasks that you may or may not use for every client. So for every buyer, I might have a well or a septic, but I might only use that 5 or 10% of the time. So when I actually have a transaction, I can add and remove tasks and add, once I have a contract, I can add actual calendar dates. Under what Jen was on before, those transaction tasks, this is where they originate from. So once, and I'm going to show you in the next section how to add a transaction and add people to sales flow. And I can show you how those tasks flow. But those will show up in your calendar as transaction tasks. So you have, now I have 2 tasks in your calendar. You have personal tasks and you have transaction tasks. So if I could put in pick up milk into my tasks on the way home. It can be whatever. Don't forget to pick up Bobby at baseball at 5:30. My transaction tasks are going to be about my clients, buyers and sellers. So you have to have set up your tasks in your, under that gear, under your task manager, and then have put your tasks, the appropriate tasks in for that transaction. Does that make sense, everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Any questions about that? Does anybody use that at all?
I've started using it.
It's fantastic. And I used to get annoyed with the day 1, day 2 thing. I don't worry about it now because now I realize that once I have an actual contract, I'm going in and putting in physical dates.
Mm-hmm.
So I just put active tasks in the first 14 days. I put my pending tasks in 14 to 20, and I put my other ones after 30 days. And I don't worry about it because you do have, your tasks are active, pending, and closed for when you're in a transaction. But that's kind of a different class. But these so you have 2 kinds of tasks, your own personal tasks and your transaction tasks.
I
Right.
actually had a question going back to my task for Jennifer. Am I correct to think that if you add a task, since all this out syncs with Outlook, if we add a task into our Outlook calendar, let's say from our phone, it should show up in Engage as well, correct?
Ask that again, Tom?
It
So,
goes from Outlook to Engage, but I don't know, does it go from Engage to Outlook?
Um,
I
Outlook,
think it does.
Outlook goes to your Hannah email. And I'm trying to think. You know what? I'm going to go find it and then I'll look it
And
up.
the only reason why I say that is because I've opened up my Outlook calendar and I don't see
I don't think it does.
what I
And I'm going
put
to
in
show you.
just now. It goes from Outlook to Engage, but it does not go from Engage to Outlook.
Okay,
Unless
so
did I hit the sync calendar button? Let me go back.
Yeah,
well, that
I
was
think
my question. It does go from Outlook to Engage. It does. Yes?
so. Jen, can you let me share my screen for a sec?
Sure,
And then I will show you.
this should be good.
Okay. So this, can you see the 5-step flyer? So open to close.
Yes.
This should also have an arrow. Open to close talks to Real Scout. They both talk to Engage. E-contacts talk to Engage. Agent uploads talk to Engage. The only thing that goes from Engage back and forth is Hannah Mail.
Mm-hmm.
Moxie Concierge and Hannah Leads that come from anywhere else talk to Engage. Buy side will also be added to this. But the only thing that goes from Engage back and forth is Hannah Mail.
Okay.
So yeah, you do have to check in on your calendar in Engage. It doesn't go to Outlook yet. That may change. This is the way it is right now.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, and by the way, this document is in Go Hannah. You just search Engage and it pops up under Documents. It's
Okay.
called the 5-step flyer. So let me stop sharing so Jen can go back to sharing.
Alrighty. Yeah, so it shows up. Can you see my screen now with my calendar?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, so it shows up on the Engage calendar, but it did not show up back on my Outlook calendar.
Outlook.
Right.
But there is that button. If you create it in Engage, when it's in there is that button that you were just talking about that you can click to say something like add to calendar or
Add to
something,
count,
right?
but it's adding it to your Engage calendar.
Aha. Okay.
Yeah, so you know what, Tom? Do me a favor and go to your Go Hannah dashboard and put that in the suggestion box.
Okay.
You'll know where that is, Maggie. You're muted.
Do you guys all know where the suggestion box is?
So let
No.
me go.
Okay, so if you go to gohannah.com,
Yeah.
it is on the left with the little,
Yeah, can you all see my Go Hannah?
yep, we can. So it's
Yep,
right there
so
with the light bulb.
The suggestion box has the light bulb.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, you know, and everybody should, we just were talking about this yesterday, and I have, again, sort of forgotten it was there because we have so much cool stuff. But use that, especially, and be real specific, because this suggestion will now go, it'll be reviewed by Howard Hanna, and then they will push it out to Moxie. Because they are always, you know, Moxie folks are computer geeks. They're not realtors. So it's real important for them to get continued feedback from us, and they read it and they listen. So you know, it's a great feature that, you know, some of us sometimes forget is there.
Wonderful.
So, and you know, try and make it specific and you know, reasonable. If you know what I mean.
So I just added it to mine, and I always feel like the more people who do it, the more they're likely to listen to it.
Correct.
So I
Absolutely.
just sent that suggestion myself. It's a great suggestion, Tom.
Yes, and if everybody on the call does it, you know, what the hey, it's, you know, there's a power in the group, so it can't hurt. And I think it's great positive feedback to give to Moxie. So let's see, I only digress a little. Let's see, so we're gonna talk about the Housiversaries, and I'm going to go back to the to-do list. Actually, you know what? And Maggie, because this was something that I found was sort of wonky, and it may just be me. So when I go to my people, and I believe I put a test in this morning, see if I can find. Maggie test. There she is. So I'm going to click on her name. I made Maggie test a client. And so I was able to put in her Housiversary. And I made it for today. We can certainly change that. Over here on the calendar, it defaults that all of these boxes are checked. So everything will show up in the calendar. You can always uncheck them. You know, I don't necessarily know why you would, but it certainly is an option. But Housiversary, first Housiversary. And then you can click into that and write Maggie a note if you have Maggie's email. I put in my Gmail email just so it would have a real email address. And it pre-fills, wishing you a happy anniversary on the purchase of your home. Here's to many more years of happy memories. Of course, you can customize that, but that automatically pre-fills, so you really don't have to do anything else if you don't want to. You can hit the preview button, and that's what would come up if I sent Maggie her Housiversary thing, which is sort of cool. I mean, it only takes a click or two, and it's a great sentiment. I'm a big one who,
Go where?
Pardon? Somebody have a
Go into
question?
the office and go to the dollar store.
No, you need to mute her. Can you get on her box and mute, Marilyn?
No, because I didn't, Nita was the,
Okay, let's see.
oh, there she goes.
Okay. Yeah, the other thing about Housiversaries is that they are not automated. You'll get a reminder, and you can set that reminder for as many days ahead of time. I usually do 5 to 7, so that I remember to put it on my calendar and send that out. And that is something you do again under that gear, under Jen's picture. And you're going to go right into Housiversaries and birthdays and anniversaries and set it up the way you want it set up.
Right.
And you can edit the general message there as well.
Right. So right under create Housiversary message at the bottom, it says schedule. So, I mean, I had it for today's date, but you can see it's already bumped it out to a year from now. So it is a great thing. You know, I get a little jammed up with some of these messages that go out because, you know, you never know, you know, whether it's a religious holiday or some other holiday that some people could be like, you know, hey, I don't really even like Halloween nowadays. A lot of people don't celebrate Halloween. But a Housiversary everybody has who's bought a home. So I think it is that one date that is just a no-fail, very cool excuse to reach out to somebody. And I do want to jump in back to what Nita and Maggie were saying about, you know, touching clients. And that's just such a creepy way to say it, but I guess that's a realtor lingo thing. But again, it's that crazy indoor voice realtor lingo. I was always taught, you know, like when you farm an area, another crazy realtor lingo thing. An active farm is 7 touches a year. So I know, agents who've been in the business 30 years who send out the quarterly newsletter think that they're actively farming an area. I disagree. That's not enough. To truly have an active farm, at least 7 touches a year. And that's not, 7 emails. You need to have it be a little face-to-face, a door hanger, something other than just an email blast 7 times a year.
And it's great if it's something they want to keep and maybe put on their refrigerator, like at New Year's, 10 exercises or diet, better eating habits, or the Buffalo Bills schedule, or the Patriots schedule, or sorry, did I say that out loud?
The Cleveland Browns, we got the Cleveland Browns, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah. But
any of that.
I mean, the recipe thing, but some people swear by them. But again, should just be a small part. But I tell you, the Housiversary, I know nobody in my local marketplace uses that. So I think it's a pretty fun, unique thing that you really just can't go wrong with it. Does anybody have any questions about that? I mean, Maggie, I know I didn't do a real total deep dive on that, but again, I think it's something that everybody should be aware of. I mean, just in the My People, I mean, are people using the my mind just went blank. The neighborhood news.
Are you guys using neighborhood news?
Tom, have you used neighborhood news?
I have, yes.
Have you gotten any feedback from folks who have received it?
No, my only my personal negative feedback is I actually screwed up. If people were on this webinar, the last webinar, you know how you can go in and pick people who have not already been subscribed to it. You can say only send it to people. I forgot how to do that. And as I was trying to figure it out, I accidentally hit send. So I woke up the next morning, so I sent it to everybody in my database, including co-broke. So the next day I woke up to about 100 unsubscribed emails.
Hey, you know what though? All's fair in love, war, and real estate.
Yeah, I figured, if I'm going to upset somebody, it might as well be a co-broke versus
go
a client,
big
so.
or go home.
But no, I haven't actually gotten any feedback, good or bad, from actual clients on it.
But as a co-broke, why wouldn't you want to know the neighborhood? And why wouldn't you want to get that? So, it's kind of funny that they would, I would probably take a peek at it myself if I was a co-broke, because it's relevant information. And even if 1 out of 100 didn't unsubscribe, they might be the one that mentions it at a party, or have met somebody in the grocery store that say, hey, I'm looking for a house, anything in your neighborhood? Well, my realtor just sent me this thing. If you only have 1, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Well,
no, I've set that up, and I also set up, is it called Trending at Home, is that campaign. And on both of them, other than those unsubscribes that I just mentioned for neighborhood news, I've actually got, because you can actually look at the stats. I've actually got good open rates, etc. So yeah,
they have pretty high open rates, and they have higher open rates if you educate people to what it is before they get it. So it's great to send out a note and say, hey, this is relevant information on your investment. I like to not say your house or your neighborhood. I like to say your investment, because they have more money tied up in their house than usually anything else, unless they're a business owner. And then they start to look at it differently. Lets them know that, this is going to let you know how the market's doing, what's selling, what's not selling, because they maybe have a 5-year plan that they may accelerate because of the way the neighborhood is going. It could be going up or down and influence that decision. So
Yeah, and going back to Tom's dilemma, I don't have a problem with sending something like that to co-brokes. And just for the reason that you never know, that co-broke may have just had a fight with their broker and
Yeah.
maybe looking to, make a move. And this is a very cool tool that we have that at least nobody in our marketplace has. One quick thing I just did want to mention, you can see here on my to-do list, the 2 items that are showing up there that say today, they are in red. So anything that happens either today or in the past will show up as red. So, it's sort of a good top of your brain reminder that, oh, maybe I didn't do anything yet, or I missed something from the day before. So it's just a good trigger in your head as a reminder to say, oh, I didn't get that task done. I need to go back and finish that. Or I still have 2 things that I need to do today. And I need to get on it. So, like anything else, the system is only as good as what you put in it. However, take it in small bites, because with the addition of campaigns, huge power behind it, but don't get overwhelmed. I know I did. And this classmate forced me to, for the last 3 mornings, 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm in here, playing away at it. And I'm like, oh, this is so cool. Oh, this is a cool feature too. Oh, this is cool too. Don't get overwhelmed by it. Give it a shot. You can't break it. And, like Tom said, you can push a wrong button. So a whole bunch of people get some cool stuff. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. So let's see. Oh, okay. Next month's webinars will be focusing exclusively on campaigns. So we will dive deeper down into that. Does anybody have any questions about just the couple of things I touched on? No, it was sort of a reiteration, but I'm a big person. It needs about 3 times to sink in. So I think I'm good. We all have to log off to log back on to number 3, right, Maggie?
That's correct.
Okay, great. Thanks, everybody. It's great to virtually meet and see everybody. I think this
Thank
is a
you.
fabulous venue, and we'll be back again.
All right.
We'll see you on the other side in the next 2 minutes.
Thank you.